So whilst we may be here at a supercar event, there's nothing more steeped in motor racing DNA than this thing right here. And I can tell you personally, I am just so pleased and passionate to be just standing near this thing. Jack Brabham's 1966 World Champion winning car, BT-19. Only built one of these cars with another Aussie, Ron Turunak, and if I'm honest, I don't think Australia knows enough about this car and this story. This guy's name was on the front of the car that won the World Championship against Lotus, against Maserati, against Ferrari, and beat them. What a fantastic story. A little steel tubular design chassis. You can see here, look at this, the fuel cell right up against where Jack's legs were, next to him in the car. Hot oil, hot water up here, the radiators up the front. These were dangerous cars, but didn't worry Jack, these were brave. And the great story about this is back in 66 or 65 for 66, Formula One changed the engine rules. So Jack buddied up with Repco Australia, and right there in Melbourne, they built that engine. Really sophisticated, clever engine, and they took that engine around the world and won the World Championship with it. It is seriously a great story. And I'm just standing next to it and looking at the car, but where's the guy? Here's the guy I want to talk to. Hey, Sam. Sam Brabham. So this is Jack's grandson. So his father, David, who we all know, made it all the way to Formula One. You reckon this kid hasn't got racing DNA in his blood? Hey, Sam, seriously, mate, as you can see, I'm excited standing next to this, and you just got to drive it. Tell me about a lap of Mount Panorama in a BT-19.
It was just I actually feel a bit emotional thinking about it, and once you get out, while you're doing it, you don't realise, and as you're coming in, that's the moment it kind of dawns on you a bit more, because you're so focused on trying to keep it on track. I don't want to have a shunt, that's probably not ideal. So I'm not going fast, but I'm just making sure my gear changes are smooth to preserve the engine and the car. And I came in, and that's when it hits you. You're like, I can't believe I've just done that.
Wow.
Like, it's just incredible. And I've driven a replica, and it wasn't nearly the same. And when you drive the real thing, it's just an incredible experience. And around this circuit is just something special.
Sam, let me ask you, I'm on a racer level, I'm really interested to know, very few people in the world will ever drive that car.
Yeah.
How does it, we look at it and think, oh, it must be terrible to drive, but how does it compare? You've driven a lot of modern race cars. Yep. On a scale, how does it compare?
It's actually surprisingly smooth to drive. I thought it's an old car, that everything's going to be a bit clunky, and the way that it is, especially when you're not driving as fast, like they're built to be driven as fast as possible, like all race cars, no different to the supercars we're here seeing this weekend. But the gear changes and the way the revs are able to match, you can do it so smoothly, and it changes gear so seamlessly. And as the revs pick up, as you put your foot down, everything's really smooth. And that surprised me a lot when I first drove it, particularly. And even now, every time you drive it, you realize how incredibly well built this was, that Ron Turunak and Jack did such an incredible job, like you said before, to beat the likes of Ferrari and those guys, but also to build a car that is just seriously well built as well.
Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate the heads up. So there it is, right from the guy that just drove that car. So again, what a great Australian story. Jack Brabham, Ron Turunak, Aussies, with a Repco built engine in Melbourne, Australia. Won the World Championship. Beautiful.